All right.
Before we start, Jim, could you spell me your first name, your last name? I know you're an RPV resident, and how many years you've been a volunteer on patrol?
My name is Jim Zupke. That's Jimzupke. I've lived in RPV for 39 years and with the Sheriff's Department for 17. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right, you ready? All right, Jim, let's go back to the beginning as far as, I know you've been with the Sheriff's Department volunteering for 17 years. How many years have you been doing the volunteers on patrol in particular, and or have you been doing it the whole 17 years before I start?
Yeah, doing the volunteers on patrol, I've been
Hold
doing
on.
I'm sorry.
Why mic is not up to him?
I know. I'm going to start all over. When I was just trying to, I'm going to re-ask the question. I'm sorry. Thank you, though. Thank you for doing that. I just wanted, before I start, did you say you started volunteering on patrol 17 years ago, or just with the sheriffs?
As a volunteer with the department 17 years ago.
Okay.
And that included volunteer and some of the other work as well.
I got you. Okay.
So
So,
let me check his focus again.
all right.
Okay.
Sorry about that. So we're going to start from the beginning. You've been with the Sheriff's Department volunteering 17 years. Thank you for your service. What made you decide to do the volunteers on patrol?
Law enforcement is something that I have always loved to do, and I have experienced in the past. And I wanted to give back to my community. I live in Rancho Palos Verdes, so it worked out well for me. I could give back to my own community, and I'm familiar with it, and I could enjoy what I love to do.
You told me you love to patrol. Talk about in the day in the life what you do as a volunteer on patrol.
We mainly are being out on patrol in the uniform and in the car that says sheriff's on it. We want to show an image that is sometimes hopefully a deterrent for crime. It is also helpful to people who may need assistance. So we're out there doing that. We do vacation checks on houses, and the houses are vacant. They're going to be gone for a while. We do that kind. We do traffic control on accidents and parades. We do all of that. We do some work at a couple of the churches as well, providing security for the churches. We check the schools. Schools are very important to check for security and an image as well.
Over the years, recently, unfortunately, we're seeing this uptick in burglary we're talking about a lot in RPV. How do you think you're going to make a difference by being out there in terms of affecting the numbers and bringing crime down?
Basically, on top, the priority on that, again, is the image, with the image of the Sheriff's Department, the car and the uniform and the radios. And secondly is the eye. It's another set of eyes. There are only so many deputies available. So it's another set of eyes in the community to watch for things that are suspicious, to maybe watch for things and pick up things where houses may be glass windows broken, somebody going in and out, carrying items and so forth. That is a big help as well to the community.
What do you enjoy most about what you do?
I enjoy watching people. I enjoy watching people. That is a big enjoyment for me. It always has been. I think I have the ability to read people and read situations very quickly and very accurately. So I have a good eye for spotting things that may not fit, and helping people who maybe have questions or who have a little distressed situation. I think that's my big benefit to the department.
For you, do you ever feel like you're putting your life on the line? We hear this law enforcement does this every day. You're part of the team. I mean, what are the risks?
Yeah, the risks are the fact that we are labeled as a sheriff, even though we are not deputies and not law enforcement. We are still labeled, so we have to be careful. We have to watch ourselves carefully, not put ourselves in a dangerous position. We have radio contact immediately, which we can immediately have a number of police cars backing us up right away. But there still is a little bit of risk that we have to take out there, yes.
So for someone thinking about doing this, what is the commitment? How long is the shift? Just kind of, what's a day in the life that way in terms of how many hours you give and how long is your shift?
Coming in as a volunteer, you have to go through a screening process. Don't necessarily want felons as that, but we're open to everything else. All personalities and all genders, of course, the department is open to, and volunteers. It's training. We put you through training coming in, training in doing patrols, training on radio training, interior training. Some people fit more into desk work and working inside the station. Others are better out working with the public. so those are primarily the things that we look for, and people coming in. Again, all personalities and all types are welcome, very, very welcome to the station.
And you have to know how to drive one of these cars.
Yeah, part of the training is called EVOC. That's the emergency vehicle training. That's part of it, a requirement. That's a one-day situation. We have radio training. We even take you to give you a familiar tour through the jail system, through the station system, so you're familiar with all the aspects of the Lomita station. Again, out on volunteers, we take them out. That's one of my main jobs at the station, is to train new recruits coming in and take them out and get them on the job. A lot of on-the-job training there.
For you, in terms of trying to encourage somebody out there watching to do this, why would you tell them to do this? And what sort of, like, there is that certain criteria. I mean, you can pass the background check, but you have to have a certain temperament, I would think, to be able to do this.
Yeah, we have a lot of regular criteria. This is going to be Los Angeles Sheriff's Department's criteria to follow. Those have to be followed very carefully. They have to be explained, and we have to make sure that the recruits are doing those. Very similar to what the deputies have to do, the responsibility there. We do have a responsibility when we're out there. We represent the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, and so we have to stand up to those standards. In addition to that, it's just important. Some of my past experience, I have a lot more experience other than the Sheriff's Department in police and law enforcement type work. I share that with these people. I give training classes at the station. We set up scenarios for different types of situations and train them how to handle it, what they're doing right and what they're not doing correct.
One of the things you guys do now is you can write tickets. So talk about that. That's a new piece, right?
Yes, in Rancho Palos Verdes, we've been doing it in Lomita for quite a while, but we've just recently got the okay to write parking tickets. Parking in front of fire hydrants and red curbs and without a permit and permit parking only. We do that quite a bit. That's picked up quite a bit, particularly around some of the park areas where the traffic may overflow the parking into the residential areas. We're very keying in on that very, very much at this time.
Okay, super. I think anything else you want to add that I'm missing, just again about why this is such an important program to the community and how you are making a difference?
It's very important, particularly if your community, maybe your little homeowners association or your area has, or if you don't, try to set up a neighborhood watch program. Share that information and contact with the Sheriff's Department. I strongly recommend that all the residents and so forth in the cities of Rancho Palos Verdes and Rolling Hills Estate, if you see something that just doesn't fit, do not hesitate to call the Lomita Sheriff's Station. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is one of the law enforcement agencies that responds. If we have units available, we will respond, even if it turns out to what we would call Code 4 clear. We just want to make sure.
Have you actually been able yourself personally, because you've been doing this for a while, been able to call anything and that you saw that resulted in arrest, something, that you were like, wow?
Yes, I've done this a number of times, particularly since I picked up more a patrol in Rancho Palos Verdes and Rolling Hills Estates. I have been successful in observing people who are suspicious and who have turned out to be of a suspicious nature and have been taken into custody. I have done that. That is a kind of an adrenaline rush, and I love that.
And so when you see people that are suspicious in the community, you typically then you call for help, right? That's how that works.
Yes, we immediately call for what we call backup, and usually it's directly to the station. Dispatch will roll at least one, maybe two cars sometimes, depending on what the call is. And they're usually here within a very few minutes to the location that we need them. They take over and do the actual investigation from there. So
again, just to be clear on what you can and can't do, if you saw somebody acting suspicious in front of a house, you just can call in. You're not supposed to approach a person or anything like that. What are the rules of what you can do and what you can't do? I'm just curious.
This goes back to training, and again, we're not armed. And we have certain authority, but the authority is not in arrest or not taking anybody somebody into custody, and it's a dangerous situation. So yes, our strict training is if we see something that is suspicious, then when we call for help, we do not approach that suspect. We do not approach the situation and get involved in it. We call for the deputies to arrive, and they arrive and take care of it very shortly for us.
Anything you want to add that you think is important that the community needs to know about this program? We've covered a lot of ground, but I just, in case, anything you think of, because you're the one that's been doing this for a long time.
Do not be afraid to look into joining us. We would love to have you. The Alameda Station has a number of opportunities, both inside this. We even have a posse, which a lot of stations don't. We do search and rescue, and that is a lot of fun going into some of the rural areas. We work the beaches and the parks and so forth. As a community, I would give back support to your police station, which is going to be the Sheriff's Department. The more you support them, the more safer community I think that you have.
And one last thing, any tips you want to give, because we're all doing what we can to stay extra safe now because of that uptick in burglary. Any advice or tips you like to give people out there?
Yes. Yeah. Home burglaries particularly, do not leave doors unlocked, do not leave windows open when you leave the house. If you're going to be away from the house for a period of time, have the papers stopped. Try to get your mail every day or have somebody pick the mail up. There's a lot of mail theft. They're very sophisticated at mail theft. Try to do that. Don't leave cars parked outside, even if you go down to the beach or the parks. And even if you lock them, don't leave valuables inside of the car. Those are smash and grabs. We have a lot of that. Watch your purses, ladies, when you go into the shopping. Keep the purses over your shoulder, or if you put them in the shopping cart, hook the kid strap around them. Kind of be aware, be a little bit paranoid of what's going on around you and your neighborhood.
All right, you are awesome. You're made for TV as well. Okay, couple of things.